Canada's Supreme Court is marking 150 years since its inception. And in honor of the anniversary, 3 justices are coming to the Northwest Territories. Starting on Sunday, Chief Justice Richard Wagner, along with Justices Nicholas Kasirer and Michelle O'Bonswain, will be in Yellowknife. They'll meet with students, the public, and people in the legal community. It's the 3rd stop in a 5-city tour across the country. The tour is meant to help make the Supreme Court a little more accessible to Canadians. Chief Justice Wagner explains how the court's decisions are relevant to Northerners.
Well, I think the court is relevant to every citizen in this country, but also, of course, with the Northwestern population. There are so many issues, legal issues, that can impact the life of any citizens, including the life of the citizens up north. You know, access to justice is much, I would say, sometimes much more difficult up north because of the distance, because of the cost, because in many places, even access to technology is more difficult. There are people in Canada that don't have internet. And when we talk about access to justice, we talk about access to information, and you need internet to facilitate that knowledge. So there are some realities up north that you will not find in the southern part of the country. And the decisions that the court is called to release have an impact on individual life of citizens in Yellowknife, for instance. I think that reconciliation is a concept that is applicable to every stakeholders in the justice system. Of course, the Supreme Court, like any other courts in Canada at every level, will decide cases when the cases are brought before the court. And we need to decide these cases according to the law and according to the evidence. And whenever those cases are brought before the court, we will decide. And as you know, for the last at least 50 years, if not more, the Supreme Court was called to decide issues dealing with Indigenous rights and the application of the Charter of Rights and Freedoms. So there is no doubt that our decisions have made a difference in society, more particularly since the adoption of the Charter of Rights in 1982.
There's a town hall style event with the justices at the N.W.T Legislative Assembly in Yellowknife on Sunday. That starts at 10 a.m.